name is Tiana Rich. I'm a student at the University of Central Florida, and in today's video I will be showing you guys how I study. So let's get started. I think that studying actually starts with your note-taking process. Do you do handwritten notes? Do you type your notes out? Do you not do notes? If you don't do notes, maybe you should start. But I'll just mention that when you take handwritten notes, it is better for conceptual knowledge, like applying this information to other things in life, while if you're just typing your notes out, it's better for factual knowledge. So just straight from the script, facts. I would take this into consideration when you're choosing which note-taking process to do for your classes. Also, handwritten notes do take a lot of time, so if what you're reading is a lot of information and your hand is going to cramp up, or you just don't feel like handwriting all that information, typing might just be best because of that. For my math classes, I tend to handwrite all of those notes out because I think it would be way too difficult to actually type that into a computer unless you are a computer genius. And I am not. But for classes that are highly dense in information, like my abnormal psychology class and my interviewing and counseling class, I tend to type those notes out just because there's so much information and I don't want to paraphrase anything incorrectly. So at the end of the day, whatever you choose, just make sure that it works for you and that you're getting all the information that you need into your notes so that you can study it later on and you can pass your test. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. There's no clear-cut answer on how I really study for my classes because each class is so different. But for my math classes, I think the only real way to study for your math class is just to keep practicing the problems over and over again until you get it. And I'm gonna say it. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for it, but I'm gonna say it. You might actually want to read your textbooks for your math class. That's crazy. I know, that's crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you read a textbook for a math class? I'm going to tell you. I'm taking a statistics class right now, and last semester when I took the prerequisite statistics for this class, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't read the textbook. I didn't read it. I completely relied on the professor for all the conceptual knowledge that we needed for the class. I only used the textbook for practice problems. But when I started reading the textbook for this statistics class, I was like, wow, this actually makes sense. So I would suggest that if you don't understand something that your professor is going over, consider reading the textbook. Who knows? It just might help. I'm just saying. But for my non-math courses, my non-mathematical courses, But for my non-mathematical classes, I start by rereading all of my notes and gathering intel on what I think will be the most important concepts that might show up on the test. And then I learn that material by just reciting it over and over again or trying to apply it to different concepts that I might have known from previous psychology classes. And then after I feel like I have completely understood all the material, I teach my friends. And by friends, I mean Finn, Jake, Bimo, and Kito. Everything that I learn, I teach those guys, and if I can't explain it to them in a way that's understandable or what I think would be understandable for plush dolls, then I will go back and reread the material, teach it to myself again until I can teach it to them in my own words in a way that makes sense to both of us. Because if you're able to teach someone or something the concepts that you're learning, you know that you actually understand that concept, especially if you're teaching that concept in your own words. You want to be able to teach somebody or something the concept in your own words and not just recite it verbatim from the textbook. But y'all, sometimes reading the textbook just doesn't cut it. In those cases where I can't understand the material based off what the teacher has said or the textbook, we have this amazing resource called the internet. The internet is your best friend, okay? Once you learn your learning style, if you're an auditory learner, a visual learner, a kinesthetic learner, or what's the learner where you're like a reader? That's visual. Oh, they're just called reader-writer learners. That's lame. Okay, well, if you're an auditory learner, a visual learner, a kinesthetic, or a reader-writer learner, it's good for you to know just so that you're not wasting your time on the internet looking for things that isn't actually going to help you. I learned that I'm not an auditory learner. You could say something and it will go in through one ear and out the other. But I learned that I am a visual and a reader-writer learner. So I like to look at videos on YouTube, especially if they're animated, and I put on subcaption, and I don't know, it just helps me a lot better. So just being able to know what type of learner that you are can really help you when you're searching for information on the internet, just so that you're not wasting your time. So the last thing that I do in my study routine, just to submit everything, is to test myself. Either I will try and guess what kind of questions would be on the test and I make up questions myself, or I'll just look up a quiz online or from my textbook and do those myself. There's benefits to both of these methods, especially coming up with sample questions that you think might be on the test, because if you can think of sample questions that might be on the test, then you actually know what you've taught yourself, and who knows? You might just predict some questions that actually might be on the test, and it makes the test that much easier. But if you don't want to make up sample questions, just finding a quiz online or testing yourself in the back of the textbook will do too. If you didn't know, we learn best by taking tests. Oh, did that rhyme? We learn best by taking a test. We learn best by taking a test. We learn best by taking a test. Oh, I'm not a teacher. But for real, when you take a test, you can really gauge what you know about a concept. It's not the same as just sitting here saying, oh yeah, I know that concept. Because when you get the question wrong on the test, it's very obvious that you don't know that concept. So you can go back in your textbook, do some extra reading on it just to make sure that you understand it and you know it for the test so that you can ace it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it better prepares you for studying this semester so that you can do better on your tests. If you have any extra tips for studying, please pop them down in the comments below so that we can all help each other. So without further ado, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! We learn best by taking a test. We learn best by taking a test. We learn best by taking a test.